welcome, y'all. We are back. Sorry for the wait. You know, the whole resettling process is a pain in the butt, as y'all know. I mean, how many times have y'all moved in 1 year? So, we're back, baby. We're back for some more Saints content, despite how things have gone with the Saints. I don't care, because as I always say, it's a glorious day to talk about Saints football, because we're not Falcons fans. I said that completely wrong, but that's all right. Hit that intro. Welcome to the Who Dat Weekly, featuring the Dirty Dev's finest, Christopher J. Spires. Alright, as I already mentioned, we are back after taking a week off to get some personal moving stuff out of the way. Well, I'm so glad we're back, y'all. We got a new background. Well, it's not really new, it's just a new wall, so. But yeah, we are back, ready to talk some more Saints football. I'm so glad we're back, because I felt the absence of doing no podcast this week due to all the moving stuff I had to deal with. So, but we're here to talk some more Saints football. And before I talk about some Saints football, where are you at, LSU fans? Hotty toddy, gosh almighty, who the hell we? Hey, flim flam bim bam, Ole Miss by damn, baby. Beat them Tigers, baby. Oh, it was a great victory for the Ole Miss Rebels. I have to brag about it, y'all. If you're a Tiger fan, or an LSU fan, suck it up. So, out of all the LSU Ole Miss games I've seen over the years, that was probably one of the more satisfying Ole Miss victories over LSU that I've seen growing up with this team. And I can't get over it. It's one thing to there's some satisfying games that you see the Ole Miss. Oh, for me, I see Ole Miss beat up LSU by 20, 30 points. Sure, that's nice and all, but it's when you take down a really good, talented LSU team like we saw this past Saturday. It's how they took them down was a thing of beauty. I can't get over that. We actually put them into submission in the best way possible. Yeah, LSU fans are not going to like this part. Suck it up. Get over it, because it's my time to talk some trash. So, LSU. How about them corn dogs? Y'all still smell like corn dogs. So, but yes, sir. But Ole Miss, this was a much needed victory, because all off season really I've been hearing LSU this, LSU that, Garrett Nussmeier this, Garrett Nussmeier that. I have heard nothing but big stuff talk about LSU. I'm just sitting here thinking LSU's garbage. And yes, y'all already know I don't like LSU, and y'all might say, oh, you're just a bona fide hater and all that. Well, you know what? I don't care, because I knew LSU was not that good to begin with, and I've been saying it. In fact, I even said it in my SEC podcast episode months ago, that LSU, yes, has a talented team, but the problem is they have Brian Kelly and, in my opinion, Garrett Nussmeier, who I both suck. So, and guess what? They suck. And I kept asking LSU fans during the course of this season so far, what have you guys done that is worthy of being the fourth-ranked team in the nation? What have you guys done? Of course, LSU fans will say, well, what have you guys done? Well, first of all, I know we haven't played anybody ranked up until LSU, but all I can say is we played more SEC teams than you guys did. At the time they had just played Florida, and Florida sucks. So Arkansas gave us a run for their money, but I mean that's typical for Ole Miss. Arkansas always gives us problems. So, what's up, Jerry? I see you. How you doing? Who dat, baby? If you're a Tiger fan, I'm sorry. I'm roasting your Tigers right now. So, but, yeah. So, like, with with where was I going? Oh right. So I knew LSU was a joke to begin with because like they didn't scare me. Like their team, yeah, sure, their defense was good. I can acknowledge that, but they offense is garbage. Garrett Nussmeier is garbage. Like they were trash, and I saw that a mile away. I guarantee, even though LSU is off this week, just like Ole Miss is, guarantee they're going to lose a lot more games because of Garrett Nussmeier and Brian Kelly. That's enough about that for the time being. So let's go ahead and talk some Saints football. So, yeah. So the Saints, I did watch some of the Bills game this past Sunday while I was busy moving and packing all my stuff. So I was able to catch pretty much the rest of the weekend. No, weekend. What am I talking about? The rest of the game that day, and I would say I was encouraged after the whole Seattle disaster that was now officially 2 weeks ago, and yes, I agree, Jerry. This weekend, Saints need to win, and that is right. Yeah, the Saints are staying in the Superdome for all. In fact, that's a big announcement I should probably mention. The Saints did officially sign with the state of Louisiana a new lease contract that will have them stay through 2035, but they have, I think, 4 additional 5-year contract extensions within that lease that will help them if they choose to stay, which I assume they will. Why in the world would they leave? But their new contract extension will technically run through 2055, which is a pretty good long 30-year lease. So happy with that. I'm just glad that's out of the way because I had me a little concerned with how much of a delay they kept going back and forth in negotiations. But I figured there's no way the Saints would actually leave New Orleans. And get Miss Benson, she pulled through for us, and she got the deal done with the state of Louisiana, and we're good to go. So who dat for life, y'all? Who dat? So. But as my good boy Jerry just said, this has to be the weekend where we have to get a win against the Giants, and I'm going to discuss about that matchup momentarily. So, but I want to have some thoughts that I didn't get to share this past Sunday about the Buffalo Bills game. I would say, even though I was expecting us to get absolutely throttled by the Buffalo Bills, I was really expecting a 50 burger, but they surprised me again, and I'm totally happy with that. In fact, I'm so satisfied with that I'm just glad we didn't get throttled. This game wasn't boring, or we're like, here we go again. This sucks. But no, it was a complete opposite. They actually made it competitive, and they were really competitive up until about the fourth quarter, and that's when everything fell apart. So, but I have to give this team credit for not just taking it in the butt and all that. So they really did a great job. They really did a great job fixing mistakes that were obvious. Like the big one from me, and this is where I give a lot of praise to Coach Moore. I don't know what he did this past week, but he really did the right things to where we only had 2 whole penalties in this whole game against the Bills. That is significant improvement. That's what I need to see every single week. Like, I can't emphasize enough how bad the penalties have been for the Saints. I'm hoping this is going to be a consistent thing and not just those one good game, one bad games in terms of penalties. We cannot have that. But this was such a satisfactory game for me, even though we still took an L, and we got to start winning games at some point. But I hope with a big gauntlet of our schedule out of the way, I think the Saints will eventually start winning games. So, but and the other thing I really liked is how the run game finally woke up. Like, I know Coach Moore's been trying to implement the run game heavily these past couple weeks, and it hasn't exactly gone according to plan. But some things I noticed out of this game was Kendry Miller. This was his game despite the loss. He looked fabulous this past Sunday. Like, he looked like a younger Alvin Kamara who was just plowing through that really talented, strong Buffalo Bills defense that has been top 5 defense for the last couple years now. Kendrick Miller made him made them slip and slide left and right. It was great. And then Spencer Rattler. Let's talk about him for a second. Spencer Rattler. He also used his legs this past Sunday. He hardly threw, which if you look at his stats, you might think, why did he throw less than 200 yards this week? Well, he didn't really have to throw. He just had to run the ball, and that's what he did. He did just that. And I can't be mad about that. Like, I've been hoping that he would use his legs to extend plays so that it gives us an opportunity to win. And that's why I've been saying for a while, if you use your legs when you know there's not a play open, you're going to help extend the offensive drive. And on top of that, you might just win some games. Now, this game was very winnable. And it disappoints me that we didn't win this game because there were opportunities where we could have won this game. Like for example, if Brandon Cooks hadn't dropped that touchdown pass, we could have probably won that game for certain. Brandon. In fact, I still think that we could have gotten away with that touchdown. Like let's be real here, y'all. That touchdown should have been. It should have stood on the field. Like the call stands. That's what I'm trying to say. Because if you look at it from one angle, you could see that the football was blending in with the black jersey part of Brandon Cook's outfit, and you really couldn't tell if it hit the ground. Now, but of course, the refs didn't call it that way. I still that could have been indisputable evidence, really. Like, oh come on, like I really wish. I wish that was not called back because that kind of hurt us a bit. And then after that, the defense fell apart late in the game. They let Josh Allen just literally run all over them. They had a hard time stopping Josh Allen. And on top of that, the special teams once again made some bonehead decisions by roughing the punter when we had an opportunity to get the ball back. We ran into the kicker and... we gave the ball back to them. They basically killed the clock the rest of the way. So, it sucks. Another loss for the Saints. But what I'm proud is that they showed a lot of fight. They really did show a lot of fight. And I'm very proud of them about that. So, but I want to also talk about Spencer Rattler because I want to get real with Who Dat Nation about Spencer Rattler. You might have heard some opinions floating around that like Spencer's now currently 0-10 as a starter for the New Orleans Saints, and even though I would put an asterisk on the 0-10 part because as we all know, last season was an absolute dumpster fire. We had none of the starters available, so poor Rattler had no one to throw to. Well, now it's been about 4 games into this season, about to be 5. And while Rattler, I have seen a lot of growth out of him. He has shown so much upside more this year than he did in his couple games that he played last season. The problem is we're not winning games. And that's the thing. I'm not blaming this on Rattler. I want to be clear. All the four games this season are not on Rattler. Rattler has played his heart out. He is very competitive. I see that being displayed on the field. He will not give up until the game hits zeros all across the board. Like, he is a competitor. But the problem with Rattler is that we're not winning games. Now, of course, a lot of factors are happening where receivers aren't catching the football. But, of course, then this is one thing I blame Rattler for, is Rattler's not the most accurate quarterback I've noticed. Like, even though he's not, like, throwing picks as much or he's not losing the football as much, which is good, the problem is like, he's also pretty inaccurate. Some of his throws will be, like, either behind the receiver or too far ahead of the receiver. There have been some balls where he almost threw an interception, but lucky for him, they got called back due to some kind of pass interference or holding call on the defense, the opposing defense, that is. And so he's gotten away with some things, but we should probably start entertaining the idea of possibly starting Tyler Shuck eventually. And it's not because Rattler's not doing a bad job, it's just we're not winning games. And as I already mentioned before, I already mentioned before that this is not on Rattler, but when you're not winning games, it just makes you think, is Rattler just the backup material? because if he's just backup material, then that's totally fine. At least we know we have a really good backup. Now, I'm not saying Tyler Shuck is the starter material. We have yet to see him play a full game, a full regular season game, so to speak. But it might be coming time to where Rattler's starting role, his leash is basically getting smaller and smaller. I can't imagine the Saints will want to go another game or two where Rattler's the starting quarterback, and and that and we're still not winning games. So it's good. It's going to be interesting to see how the Saints play this out, because I don't know what to expect from the Saints as Rattler continues to be the starting quarterback. At some point, they're going to start thinking it's time to pull the plug on Rattler and try Tyler Shuck. Maybe he might be able to win some games. Now, of course, that's up to debate. I'm sure it's a popular debate all over social media, and I've seen some people saying we should probably start Tyler Shuck this week, but I'm like, no. Rattler's not costing us games at the moment, but if the constant losing games at a close rate continues, then we might have to consider benching Rattler for Tyler Shuck, just to see if Tyler Shuck might actually get us wins and play either the same way as Rattler or maybe play a little bit better than Rattler. I don't know which comes first. It's a difficult situation for the Saints quarterback room, because Rattler's doing enough to keep us in games, but at the same time we're not winning games. So you have to start to think, let's put in Tyler Shuck, see how he does, and will the outcome result in wins or will it result in more losses? Oh, I don't know. So it's something we have to start thinking about. Like, as much as we all love Rattler, and I've been very supportive of Rattler, I'm so glad he had this opportunity to really start the season with healthy starters. And for the most part, all the starters have been there, like on offense, especially on offensive line. So he has no excuses to why he's not playing well, and he's been playing okay. I wouldn't say he's like playing lights out. That's kind of where I'm at with Rattler right now, and because he's not blowing us away with like these amazing plays or anything like that, it makes me think that we should probably consider just taking the next step and trying out Tyler Shuck. I mean, what do we got to lose? I mean, we're not making the playoffs anyway, because I don't know any team that has lost their first 4 games of the season and has made the playoffs. And at this rate, we're probably not going to make the playoffs. A team that has so many problems on both sides of the ball. Like, we clearly don't have a number 1 receiver. That's a big one. Offensive line has been okay at best, but still not perfect. And granted, we still got ways to go for this season. The running game needs work, and of course, the big one being the quarterback is the other thing. Now, in defense, the defense is just not that great. In fact, it looks very similar to last year's defense, where they'll start off okay, but then they get trampled on at the end of the game, and things just don't go the way we hoped. So, yeah, I don't know what to do with this year's team. Like, I already knew we were going to be either pretty bad or competitive. I mean, I'm glad we're competitive, but at the same time, we're not going to make the playoffs. And I guess so much for my little my little preview season episode where I said we would make the playoffs. At this rate, it's not looking that way. I guess I'm saving myself money on the tattoo. So, yeah. But anyway, with enough of that, let's go ahead and talk about the Saints versus Giants matchup. I'm going to go ahead and switch screens. Give me 2 seconds, y'all. I got to find the... oh, excuse me. Oh, refreshing water. All right. Let me switch screens here for you guys. There we go. All right. So, we're going to take a look at some of these stats here. Saints are playing the Giants at the Superdome. They're back home in the Dome, and boy, oh boy, do we need a win. And this would be the weekend to take that opportunity to win, because a couple factors happen for the Giants. Their starting receiver, Malik Neighbors, as y'all can see, he's on IR. He tore his ACL, which really sucks, especially for my fantasy team. It really sucks for me. Dang it. But Malik Neighbors, he's out for the season with an ACL injury, and that couldn't have come at a worse time for the Giants. Like, literally, he is their best receiver. Like, you can't. If you ask me who their next best receiver is, I would say maybe Darius Slayton. Maybe. I don't know. And what's worse is that they have Jackson Dart. I know that you see Russell Wilson. That's because he's played the most games so far. But it's going to be Jackson Dart versus Spencer Rattler. And this game is going to be a pain for me because, like, Jackson Dart's my boy, and he's from Ole Miss, and I hate that we're going up against him. But you know what? It's time to kick his little butt now, so bring it on. But that's not the point. The point is that Jackson Dart actually got his first win as a first-time NFL starter for the New York Giants. They took down a really good Chargers team. Surprisingly, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw he actually took down the the Chargers. I'm like, whoa, okay. If Dart and the Giants took down the Chargers, who is a really good team, we're in trouble. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope the Saints will make life hell for Jackson Dart and the boys of blue, but only time will tell. So now, my hope for this game is that our defense just somehow finds a way to contain Jackson Dart, because I've watched him all 3 years at Ole Miss, and Jackson Dart, I know him all too well. He's a quarterback that will run when he needs to. And he displayed that last week against the Chargers, and his stats from last week weren't a lot, but they were good enough to where they won the game against the Chargers. And because, want to know why? Because Jackson Dart, not only can he spread the ball around when he needs to, he can also run the ball when he needs to. And he did that quite a bit this past Sunday. So, and that's something the Saints are struggling with at the moment with mobile quarterbacks. I said this in week 1 against the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to say it again for this week. I expect Jackson Dart to really utilize his legs to run all over us when the opportunity is there. So we have to keep an eye on that for certain. So, I hate talking about the Jackson Dart as the enemy. Dang it, man. But shoot, I wish he was a Saints quarterback, man. That's a topic for another day. But, so, the key thing for the defense in this week's matchup is containing Jackson Dart, who I think at this point might be their best player. Maybe, what's this dude's name? Cam Scatterbo? Yeah. Cam Scatterbo is their running back, who's okay. I wouldn't say he's like lights out great or anything like that, but he's had 48 carries, 2 touchdowns for 181 yards total this season. So I would definitely say keep an eye on him. I think the Saints defense has still been pretty solid with their run game. Maybe not so much last week because the Buffalo Bills, they have a fabulous run game. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But it's something we got to keep an eye on because the Giants' offense could be low-key scary for us. But at the same time, we have to just make sure they don't run all over us like the Bills did for the most part, or really every team that has played against us. So if we could just find a way to contain Jackson Dart and I guess Cam Scatterbo, then and maybe Darius Slayton as well, because I assume he's been upgraded to the receiver 1 slot. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, chat. But at the same time, we have to make sure we make life miserable for Jackson Dart. I would love for the Saints to give Jackson Dart. God, I hate saying it like this, but but I would love for the Saints defense to give Jackson Dart his welcome to the NFL moment, if y'all know what I'm talking about. Like, for example, last year, Caleb Williams got his welcome to the NFL moment when he went up against the Houston Texans last year, and he was sacked left and right. And there was one sack where he got plowed into the grass, and I'm like, well, there's his welcome to the NFL moment. So that's, in fact, it would be hilarious if Cameron Jordan would just lay him out. I'm talking about Jackson Dart now. It would be great if I saw Cameron Jordan just absolutely take out Dart. God, I hate saying like this, but but I need the Saints to win. I don't care about Dart this week because Dart's the enemy this week. So any other week, I'll be saying go Dart, do your thing, even though I'm not actively rooting for you. But at the same time, Dart, you're the enemy. I hope you suck this week. So, but yeah, but going back to this game, that's really the big thing that the Saints defense needs to do is contain the Giants offense, make sure they limit the big plays, limit the run game, do everything that you can that you haven't been able to do so far this season, because that has been the big problem so far this season. We have not been able to we've not been able to contain offenses very well. Let's put it that way. So now for the Saints offense versus the Giants defense. Now the Giants defense is low key underrated. The Giants defense, their best guy. Let's see, Brian Burns. Yeah, he has 5 sacks, as you can see, and their leading linebacker has 38 tackles. It's literally the same number of tackles as Demario Davis. So the Giants' defense is severely underrated because they're actually a pretty good defense. Obviously, the problem is they haven't had a really good offense to keep other teams in check. So, but this week might be their turn to keep us in check, which is why I really, really need the Saints offense to find a way against this Giants defense. Like, we have to find a way to get a group going and get it done early, limit the mistakes, get the run game going. Like, do everything you can to make to beat the Giants defense. So, but excuse me. So yeah, like and the one thing I want to see is I want to see Spencer Rattler do more than what he's doing right now. I need him to fix his accuracy against this Giants defense. I need him to do what he did against the Bills, but also maybe throw a little more accurately as well. Do better in the red zone, and I also want to see Chris Olave get more active. He's been slowly but surely getting himself back into the groove. But at the same time, like, you're supposed to be our number one receiver for a reason, and you just haven't displayed that so far. And I need you to do more is what I'm asking for in this matchup. So, and another thing I want to look out for is the running game with Alvin Kamara and Kendrick Miller, because right now we have a two-headed beast. Maybe it's more Kendrick Miller than Alvin Kamara, but I mean that's debatable. So, but at this point, like, Kendrick Miller has shown that he can definitely he's definitely the number 2 guy for a reason. And if they continue to utilize him like they did last week against the Giants, then at least Kamara can, like, take a load off a little bit here and there, because he is an aging running back at this point. But at the same time, we have to make sure we get our best guy out there, and that's Kamara at this point. Now, if you want to use Kendrick Miller the same way you use Kamara, then go for it. Any way to beat the Giants defense, then I'm all for it. Juwan Johnson, as y'all can see, I think he's currently the leading receiver on this team. He's a tight end, but he's currently the one with the most receiving yards. Now, not as much as Malik Neighbors, who's out for this week, but we start targeting him a lot, especially if you realize you don't have your deep threats out there, or really they're open or whatnot. So, yeah, so this should be a pretty good game. It's going to be a game between two supposedly trash teams. The Giants are trying to figure themselves out. What they're hoping for is that Jackson Dart is their answer to all their problems, and that we're just simply trying to find our first win of the season. And it would be great if we got it this week against a Giants team that is currently 1-3, and they got problems of their own, of course, especially with now they're losing Malik Neighbors. They're not going to be as high-powered on offense, even though they weren't really high-powered to begin with, but you know what I mean. So, but we just need to get over that hump this season and just get our first win is what we're looking for. So, it's going to be an interesting matchup to see here, y'all. And I kid you not, like, if the Saints don't win this game, I'm not going to lose sleep over it because I knew this was going to be a long season to begin with. But at the same time, if we still can't win games... Oh, wait, I just remembered something. I'm sorry, I can't believe I forgot about this. I think we're supposed to get Taysom Hill and Foster Moreau back this week. I think. I haven't checked. I haven't seen the injury report yet, so I have to double check that. If I'm wrong, type in the comments below if I'm wrong. But I do know that Taysom Hill and Foster Moreau are back in practice this week, which is huge. As we all know, Taysom Hill was literally our entire offense last year. We need him more than ever in this game. Like, if he is back for this game, oh God, like that would be a miracle saver. Oh man, and now Foster Moreau, him being back is good too because that gives us more depth at tight end, and Foster Moreau is definitely one of the better tight ends on this team. But at the same time, he like him being injured to start this season has not been helpful whatsoever. Now, granted, Juwan Johnson has done pretty good in taking care of the tight end one spot and like being the better tight end of this team. But Foster Moreau would also the thing about Foster Moreau is he's also a really good run blocker kind of tight end, and he's also got some good hands too. So if we could get one or both of those guys back in this game, we might have a little more of an edge this coming Sunday. And let me tell you, like Taysom Hill coming back against this defense would be huge, and I can't emphasize that enough. We need Taysom back. We need Taysom Hill back ASAP. So, yeah. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm so glad to be back, y'all. It's great to be back streaming it again and doing more content. I'll definitely be doing this back in rotation from here on out. Now I'm finally got all my moving stuff all settled in and whatnot. So, but yeah, like I'm glad you guys could tune in today, and hope you guys enjoy the rest of y'all's Thursday. All right, gang. Talk to y'all later. Who dat, baby?